Hey YouTube, this is Griffin Grills back again today with a simple backyard burger recipe. Today we're going to be using a mix of beef and pork. It's an 80-20 blend, so it should give us plenty of juice to our burgers. We will be helping it out with a splash of Worcestershire, some garlic, salt, and pepper, and then we're going to come back and hit it just a light dusting on the top with some Weber Gourmet Burger Seasoning. So let's get our mixing bowl out. And I'm just going to mix up the meat, get all the spices and seasoning in there, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how I form my patties. Okay, so we're back and we got the meat mixed up in our bowl here with salt, garlic, pepper, splash of Worcestershire. You really don't want to use too much because it will make your burger salty. About a tablespoon at best is all you really need. It's just to help retain some of the moisture. So now we're going to start forming the patties, and the way I do it is I take a ball of meat about the size of the inside of my hand, the palm of my hand, and then I'll just mash that around. Try to get it on camera there for you. And you want to push it from the middle to the edges and make sure you roll your edges so it holds the shape a little better. And what I've found helps burgers out tremendously is once you get the basic shape, make them a little bigger than you want to eat them because they will shrink up. But when I get my patty formed the shape I want, just take your thumb, put a little indent right in the middle of the patty. You do this because once the meat starts to cook and it rises up, you won't get that doming on the top. So if you're loading it up with any condiments like lettuce or tomato, onion, you got a nice flat surface to start that up. So now that we've got our shape formed, we'll come back and hit it with our burger seasoning. This case today we're using a Weber Gourmet Burger Seasoning. And we already have salt, garlic, and pepper in there. So you don't want too much. Just a little dusting on top. We'll go ahead and flip that over. A little dusting on the bottom, because who doesn't like seasoning all the way around? And yeah, that's pretty much the way we do it around here. So I'm going to get the rest of these patties made up, and then we'll take them out, throw them on the grill, and I'll be back with you in a little bit. Alright, so there's all our burger patties made up, seasoned. We got all our dimples in them. So now we're going to take them out, put them on the grill, and then when we go to top them, we're going to top them with some Kobe Jack cheese. So let's get these things out on the grill. Alright, so here we are out at the grill, and I'm just going to show you a little trick that I learned. If you take a paper towel and dip it in some vegetable oil or olive oil, some kind of oil, and just slide it across the grates. It helps to keep your meat from sticking. And we got this set up in a 2-zone configuration. Let that fire die down. Basically, we got a hot side over here. We got a neutral side over here, and we do that for 2 reasons. It gives us a little safety room if we need to move a burger over if it's burning, and also when we go to melt our cheese, we're just going to close the lid down and let that heat come up with our vents over this side and let the heat go out this way, and that'll help melt the cheese. Alright, so that fire has almost died down. A little bit of oil must have splashed on the flames. We're going to go ahead and put our burgers on, and we're going to do a quarter turn halfway through. That way we get the sear marks that we want, and then we'll move them over to the indirect side and let our cheese melt. I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but I love that sizzle. Nice hot grill grate and burgers on. Reminds me of Dad cooking out in the backyard. Alright, so we'll let these go for a few minutes, get some nice sear marks on them, and then when we come in, we're going to scoop underneath and turn our spatula, flip the burger. That way we get the sear marks running this way. When we turn them, they're going to be running this way, and then do that 4 times, and then you end up with cross hatch marks. And I was going to stop this, but I'll just do it in real time because it shouldn't take very long. You just want to get that underside cooked a little bit, so when you go to scoop it up with your spatula, you're not going to be ripping the meat off and leaving half your burger on the grill grate. Almost ready. And there's a great debate out there of how many times you're supposed to flip a burger or what you're supposed to do to a burger. I just like to let it cook, let it go, flip it when it's done, and then be done with it. Other people like to mash the burgers. And to me, all you're doing there is you're just dumping all the juices out onto your coals. And 1, you're going to extinguish your coals or have a flare up. And 2, you're going to end up with a dry burger, and nobody likes that. Alright, so we're going to come in and flip real quick. Like I said, we'll get underneath the burger like that. We're going to rotate to the side. Do that for every one of these, and you can already see some good looking lines. Come in over on this side here. Maybe I won't be blocking the light. It did get dark on us. We didn't quite end up with marks on all of them like I wanted. You can see a couple of these have a little crust to them. That'll be fine too. That's just good flavor. I'm not going to really stress over sear marks. You know, it's nice to have those cross hatch marks, but when you think about it, all this really is sear all the way across. So there's nothing wrong with that either. Personal preference. I'd say I probably did about maybe 5 minutes, good 5 minutes. I'll have to look back on the footage here whenever I start playing it back. But I'd say about 5 minutes is good, just to let the meat sit and cook on that one side. And then we're going to come back around and flip them again. So do like 5 minutes on the raw sides. When you flip them over and they're going back from a cooked side down, I would only do about, 2 or 3 minutes, just enough to let it cook, because it's already cooked one time. You don't want to burn them. We will check these with a meat thermometer just to make sure that they are in safe range. And we'll go ahead and get those flipped. And while we got them flipped, I'm just going to rotate the burgers Basically take the ones that were toward the back side where the lid is. I'm going to bring those out closer to our safe zone and move the ones that were farther back closer to the safe zone. That way we get even cooking. And you can see the burgers have already shrunk a little bit. Alright, we're going to go ahead and check one of these right quick. And it's coming up just a little shy of 130. They will cook a little bit more once we add the cheese to them and move them to our indirect side. So just do the burgers how you like them. Alright, do apologize about that. I was going to try to do this in real time, but I had to look up the internal temperature for a medium rare burger. Go figure. It is 145, so we're just going to probe these again. I did flip them one time off camera. And that one's reading about 139, 140, so that should be more than medium rare. My wife doesn't like them completely medium rare. She likes them more closer to well. So we're just going to move them over now to the indirect side. Alright, I do apologize. I was trying to do this whole video in real time, but a truck went down the highway right at the end of my filming. So now we got the cheese. I'm using Colby Jack today, and I take a normal slice, fold it in half again, so I end up with a nice little square to put on there. Since we are going to close the lid down and let the heat coming off of that side come out, it's going to use that heat that's rising up, hitting the dome lid, and coming back down to melt the cheese all over the burgers. So it doesn't get completely liquidy melty, but it gets that nice little gelatinous state, kind of like a pat of butter right on your burger. So now that we got all those loaded up with cheese, I'm going to close the lid down, and when we get back, we'll be taking them and plating them up. So stay tuned. Alright, so there we are with our burgers. We got them all plated up. We're going to eat, and hopefully we'll have some more videos up for you soon. Please drop a comment, like, subscribe. Thank y'all, and have a good night.